Welcome back to the Amateur Shit Talkers podcast, coming to you from Sydney now, actually. This will be our first episode that we released that we filmed in Sydney. Sitting next to us, obviously got Ben over on the side, sick of his face. And we have Chris Griffin. Chris, how are you?
So good, guys. Thanks for having me on.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for coming on. Well, it's a pleasure having you on the couch today.
Now, for the viewers, who are you? Just in general. You can give yourself a bit of a brief description before we delve into it.
That's interesting. I mean, where do you start? I'm Chris Griffin. I am not from Sydney, actually. I'm from a small town called Airlie Beach in the Whitsundays, and then ended up living there. And I grew up in the Gold Coast when I was 12. I moved there, and then I moved to Sydney when I was 18. I'm 21 now, and I have a bit of a following on social media, supporting, spreading awareness for people that are going through hard times, helping them overcome adversity, get inspired, and I guess live the lives that they want to live. And I do that. And then my main gig on the day-to-day is I run a software startup with my best friend, Sam Hope, and it's called Upshelf. And that's a bit about me.
Oh, yeah. Software?
Yeah,
I never knew that about you.
Yeah, what's that? What Upshelf is it?
Upshelf, yeah. So we basically work with liquor brands. A best way to put it is when you go into a Coles store and you're looking for a specific product.
Yeah.
And you know how when you go into a Coles store, you look for a specific product and you go to there and basically the price tag's there, but the product's out of stock.
Yeah.
And you're just a bit like, fuck, why is it out of stock?
Like, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, we make sure that brands don't have that problem. So we basically work with brands on the store representation side of their business. So making sure that their products are in the absolute best spot to sell, and making sure that all the core sales drivers, so the price tag, the display, the promotions, all of that is optimized in the best way to sell. And we basically have a team around the country that report that data and collect it, and then they upload it live to the client's dashboard.
Fuck, that sounds like quite a process. Like,
how do you possibly come up with that idea?
Yeah, so my background's in liquor. I worked for an alcohol brand. Do you know Fisher, the DJ?
Yeah.
His alcohol brand, Fizz. I used to deal with all their sales for New South Wales. I did that for about 18 months.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And I was out in... Yeah, the problem just got identified there. And before that, I had another software startup when I first moved to Sydney. And so I had the software experience with my best friend, Sam. And then I found the problem being in the liquor industry.
Yeah.
But I realized that the problem's not just in liquor, it's in the whole
Sales
retail. It's in the whole retail industry. And then we basically just combined the software experience with the problem that I found within liquor. And then that's where Upshelf was born.
Well, fuck, there you go.
There's quite a bit to that, isn't there?
I had no idea about that about you. The business side to it as well.
Yeah. There you go. That's me. The business side is me, and it's my passion. I've been doing it for ages. But I guess in terms of social media, the messaging hasn't been all around that. And I guess what's interesting about social media and for me is I've really tried to be authentic in terms of the messaging I'm putting out. And so the content changes based on my phase of life. So what people don't see is I posted 100 videos before gaining any traction. I posted 100 videos and gained 200 followers.
Yeah.
And all of that was business-related content, helping people in their final years of school bridge the gap into the real world.
Yeah.
And it was all evolved around that. And it didn't get much traction.
Yeah.
But then I went through a breakup earlier on this year and I started delving into relationships and the subconscious mind and figuring out a lot of different other things about relationships. And I posted a couple of relationship videos and then it just took off.
Yeah.
And so that's the picture online, but it's a very small piece as to who I am and everything that I do on a day-to-day.
Yeah.
So social media for you, can you describe the content that you put out, like your present stuff that you're doing at the moment, that you're like putting out to the world and it's gotten you your growth?
Yeah, well, there's two things to that question: what I'm putting out and what's gotten the growth. So I'll answer the first one first. Is what's gotten what I've been putting out is heavily evolved around relationships and people that are a lot of the time been going through a hard time, potentially a breakup.
Yeah.
They don't have the self-confidence that they need to move on. And my content's supposed to be resonating with them and hopefully soothing them and helping them go through those hard times.
Yeah.
Where the growth stemmed from, that's an interesting conversation as well. I mean...
Would that be, like, I think the first time I came across you was hard hitting quotes.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Yeah,
that
me too.
I think
Hard
I mean
hitting
you're
quotes
still
is what how I found you.
yeah, you're still doing hard hitting quotes, aren't you? Like it's
Yes and no. So Saturday was, I was doing a daily quote, hard hitting quotes daily.
yeah.
And episode 100 was on Saturday.
Oh really?
And so now I've got 100 hard hitting quote episodes on TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah.
And I have not shelved it, but I've moved on.
Yeah.
And I will be still doing quotes, that's for sure, but it's not going to be a daily thing.
Like leaving that series at 100 sort of thing.
Leaving it at 100, you can go on my TikTok and there's straight up there, there's a playlist that has 100 quotes for you to go and look at. So I'm very happy with that amount. That said, it's like, I'm trying to keep things authentic. I'm trying to keep things about me and not about me, but like stuff that's happening in my life.
Yeah, stuff that resonates with you.
And the reality is like, although it looks like I'm sad in a lot of the videos, I'm a very positive, happy guy.
Yeah, yeah.
But in order I can't just say the message in a nonchalant way. It needs to get into their emotion.
Yeah.
They need to feel something, or else it's not going to get the amount of eyes.
Yeah.
And so it's not like I'm doing it in an unauthentic way. I'm just doing it in a way that I know is I'm putting myself in the person's shoes and how they're going to feel.
Yeah.
And tying back into how the growth stemmed from. It's, I think, being really able to, someone watches a video from me and they feel it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They literally feel it in here.
Yeah,
and I think that's where the growth's come from, and the consistency. I post 2 videos every single day, and I have done since June 1st.
Yeah, and I have to know, you're, like, in your videos, it always looks like you're on the verge of crying. Like, how do you kind of just, rub your eyes and that? Like, is that how you do it, or do these quotes really hit you hard personally and you get a bit
I think another
teary-eyed?
factor is I've got blue eyes, and it honestly does look like I'm more, because my eyes stand out so much. It does look like I'm more upset than I am. Yeah. But also it's like I'm filming these maybe 5, 6, 7 times, trying to get the right take, 10 times. There's no edits and stuff. It's like you're putting yourself, I'm like preparing myself for the video. It's like I'm putting myself in the person's shoes and trying to feel how they would feel.
Yeah.
So it fucking gets emotional. And so like, it's not, there's no fake. I'm not rubbing my eyes. I'm not putting eye drops in. I'm not doing anything like that. Nothing's fake about it. But I think it's just, it's more of like the feeling I can get myself into it. Yeah. Knowing that like, it's not going to resonate with someone if I don't. And so, they're really getting into it.
And the growth for you, so you mentioned June 1st and how that's basically when you started consistent. Is that essentially, like, you've explained in one of your videos before on how, like, June 1st was like, from here I'm going to post every single day sort of thing. Is that how it went for you? Was that sort of your plan into it?
One of my mentors set me a challenge, and he said, I want you to post 1 video every single day for the whole month of June. Yeah. And he said, the only catch is every single day you've got to review that first video, review the video from the day before, and make sure the next one's better. So every day your video should be getting better. And I said, scrap that, I'll double it. I'm going to do 2 a day. Yeah. And I just left my job, and I was going all into my business, and I was like, back's against the wall, let's go. Let's go for it. Yeah, so June 1st, I started posting, and I was posting every day twice, 2 or 3 times sometimes. And it just takes a lot of time thinking of the ideas, filming it, editing it, all the rest of it. And what I found was that every video was getting like 200 views. They weren't going well. And then on day 8, I posted 1 video and it blew up and got like 500,000 views overnight. And
was that a hard-hitting quotes one?
Nah.
Oh,
it was like another one. But it was in terms of relationships. It was like speaking to guys that was like, as much as you want to call her, don't do it. It's like...
Yeah. I get the gist.
And then, day 13 of the challenge is when I posted my first quote. Yeah. And then it didn't go too well, but then the 3rd quote, episode 3, really blew up. And then from that day 13 of that challenge, it just kept growing and growing. And then after June, I kept going. And then end of July was when the real growth was happening. I gained 200,000 followers on TikTok in 2 weeks. So like it went from 100,000 to 300,000 in 2 weeks, and then from there it just kept growing. But yeah.
We've been keeping like an eye on your social media since we reached out to you, which was a bit ago now. But
I think actually looked at it last night. I think it's about 50 odd thousand followers on Instagram ago, sort of thing, in terms of a lapse of time. And I feel like it wasn't that long ago since we actually reached out to you.
Yeah, it's been nuts the growth in the past. Yeah, whatever it was, the time span between.
Yeah, it's about 1,000 to 2,000 followers a day on Instagram. Growth at the moment, and slowing down a little bit, like just last few days, but about that. And then it just depends on how the videos go on TikTok. But it can vary from 1 to 2,000 to 5 to 10,000, whatever it looks like.
And do you remember, like, obviously, I think you said it was day 3, the quote that you put on day 3. Was that like, do you remember that quote? Like, is that kind of a signature moment of yours?
I couldn't say the quote.
Couldn't say it?
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. To be honest, it's a lot of the more recent video, like the first video that blew up. I know that whole script off by heart.
Oh, really?
And it's like, well, for the most part, I think, because that was like the first video that went well.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it. Like, I mean, some of the in the 100 videos I posted in the year beforehand, one video got like 30,000 views, and that one was like a great video, and that was like the first video I ever posted sitting in my car.
Yeah.
And just straight out of the beach. It was like a video I did a couple of years ago now.
Yeah.
And so there was that video, but then the first video that ever blew up, like that was so amazing. Like it gained like 10 or 15,000 followers from the video, and it was like so amazing.
Yeah.
And so that was the first one. But in terms of the first quote that blew up, I don't know. Like I can name a few quotes, but not that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
What made you choose quotes? What was like not your inspiration? Oh yeah, I guess your inspiration for deciding on I'm going to post a quote every day.
Yeah, what I was doing, and this is why I try and tell everyone that's trying to start with content, is you just need to be throwing a bunch of shit at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if you're doing something for 20 days in a row or 30 days in a row and you're getting no traction, but you're doing the same thing, don't keep doing that.
Yeah.
You got to understand that you're spending so much time on content. They can't just be doing the same shit. Like you're spending so much. If you're going to do it, like give it a crack. And so I just was throwing a bunch of shit at the wall and see what stick. That was day 13, but I was posting 2 to 3 videos every single day. So like I was trying so much different stuff. Videos when I'm walking, videos straight out of the beach, videos sitting down, videos in my car, like all these different things, different styles of content. The quotes was just one. I was like, if that didn't go well, 15 days in, I probably would have just stopped.
Yeah.
But I thought, okay, like let's give it a go. Call it hard hitting quotes. It's like they're gonna cut deep, hit hard. I was going through a breakup and I was learning this stuff, and I was listening to these quotes, and I was like, these actually do really hit.
Yeah.
And the thing that's interesting is people can post quotes, but some people are going to resonate with some people more.
Yeah.
Someone else can you can say the exact same message that I say.
Yeah, it won't hit as hard because...
No. It might hit as hard, but it might just attract a different audience.
Yeah.
You just never know. And so like someone that might be, in their 40s saying a quote, they might resonate with a different character than I do.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But, and so you might try posting quotes tomorrow and they don't get any views.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, if that's not sticking on the wall when you throw it, let's try something new.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. And do you cop, like, obviously you're putting out such a positive message, but in this world that we live in, there are a few, like, negative people out there. Like, do you cop much hate for what you do?
No, I don't see it.
Yeah, it'd be pretty sad if people did.
I mean, like there's some guys that made like a diss video on me.
Oh, really?
Some other podcasters.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Some other podcast dude that made this diss video on me and stuff, and it was just like they're spreading this awareness for mental health, and he made this video just trying to shit on my name, which was like just a bit. I don't have time for you because because it's like you how can you. And the week before that, he sent a massive positive message saying he loves my content, which was just wild. So anyway, like there's things like that.
That's a story.
There's things like that. But then, dude, like you get some comments. But the thing is like before you start posting the content, you guys would have to feel the same.
Yeah.
before you start posting the content, you've got to say to yourself, and you've got to mentally prepare for the hate. You've got to be like,
exactly.
I know that I'm going to get hate.
Yeah.
Like, that's a given.
Yeah.
I know that I'm going to get hate. So I'm either going to not post the content and not get the hate, or post the content and get the hate. And I've got to accept that.
Yeah.
And so the funny thing is there was hate, way more hate in the first 100 videos that never blew up. Because once you get traction, people don't hate.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, once you get traction, people want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And it's like the 100 videos that I posted that I was awkward in front of the camera, I had a ring light that was just, my eyes were shining, I would never blink. Like, those videos, and I look back at them, I'm like, fucking hell, like that, I can't believe I posted them.
Yeah.
But I need to get those to get better, to get more confident in front of the camera, for everything else to go into line, to try things to know that they don't work so I can try new things. So, yeah, I mean, you're going to get hate, but I don't see it. I couldn't name a single hate comment.
Yeah.
Like, maybe someone talks about Family Guy or something because my name, Chris Griffin. But maybe someone does that, or like some dude that's trying to slander my name for views, like on a hate message, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Do you have something that actually inspired you to start posting and go into social media? Because like you were in the business scene for a while there, so it's quite a switch. I think was there always something in social media for you?
I think what's important to note is my job's not social media.
Yeah.
My job is to help millions of people around the world, and the only vehicle to do that is social media.
Yeah.
And it's a really important thing to note, because what I've wanted to do before I started, the reason I posted my first ever video is I wanted to help people. I went through a really tough time in my final year of high school. I was just the cool jock kid at school that had all the friends, played footy, like got the girls, all that stuff. And I was the cool, popular kid.
Yeah.
And then I transitioned all my focus and motivation into business. And it just like overnight, I transitioned everything. I made this decision to literally go all in on business.
Yeah.
And I lost all of my friends.
Yeah.
I lost everyone. Like, no one would answer my calls. No one would hang out with me. Everyone would just call me. I went to a state school, so it wasn't very supported. No one would call me or anything.
Yeah.
And it was a really lonely period in my life.
Yeah.
So lonely. Everyone's like, what are you going to do? Like, you're not going to uni, you're going to become a tradie. Like, what are you going to do? Drop kick.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur, businessman.
Yeah.
And I got all this hate. And it was a really challenging time for me. And when I made it out the other side, and I had moved to Sydney a day before the borders closed and went into lockdown, and I started the business and went all in, raised a bunch of money, got investors on board when I was just turned 18, and raised all this money at a massive valuation and got this little bit of success, at least what it looked like. All of these people that hated me started coming back and congratulating me and all this stuff. Typical story, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm sat back and I'm like, all these people paid me out, and it was so hard for me to go against the grain and not just hang out with them. It was so challenging.
Yeah.
And the fact that I look back and they've all gone to the degrees, they've all dropped out because they hated it. Yeah. And now they're looking at me and congratulating me. There's going to be a lot of people in this world that are in that grade 12 spot and they're scared to take that leap.
Yeah.
And they're never going to do it, and they're never going to achieve an amount to the life that they want to live. And so that was my why. It was like, I want to be able to help people bridge the gap from high school to the real world. And that was why I started posting content. I want to write a book. I want to tour the world. I want to speak at schools. And that's what I want to do. And the social media was the vehicle to do that. So I started posting content about business and mindset and life and fitness online. And that's where it all started.
Yeah.
So you yourself are a very strong believer, and Ben and I are as well, that uni isn't the only way. There's like other avenues that coming out of high school, you don't have to just go with the grain and go get your degree, then, go get postgraduate, whatever the fuck it's called. I don't really even know. But you can move forward in life and grow as a person without having to make money, without going to uni, sort of thing. Like, uni is not the only way, and a lot of people don't have that because a lot of the older generations, uni was the way, and uni was the way that, money was sort of made and coming out. But now with the ever-changing society, there's ways to make money and there's ways to live without, doing a degree or having to actually really push yourself in the academic level.
Yeah.
Have you found that people don't know that sort of thing, and people are influenced the other way and saying that you have to go to uni, and that's really what you're changing?
Everyone knows it now.
Yeah.
That's a given.
Yeah.
The problem is in the belief. People don't believe
Yeah.
that they can amount to something greater. There's two things. They have people that they're trying to prove, and they don't believe that they can amount to anything.
Yep.
And so it's not that they don't know.
Yeah.
Like, think about, all it takes is to scroll on social media for the smallest little amount of time, and you can see young people driving around in these nice cars and all this stuff. And it's like, they're not drug dealers.
Yeah.
They're not. And so people are trying to prove something to the people around them or the family or whatever it may be. And then they also have they don't have the self-belief in themselves and the confidence in themselves to take that leap and have something greater. And then what stems from that is the fear of failure. I did a poll on my Instagram the other day or last week or whatever about what are people's biggest fears. And it's the fear of, such a common one was the fear of failure.
Yeah.
And I responded to it. I'm thinking, you don't have a fear of failure. You have a fear of other people's opinions on if you fail or not.
Yeah.
You don't, when you're playing a video game
Yeah.
by yourself, you're not scared of losing the round
Yeah.
because you just fucking start again.
Yeah.
Because no one's looking.
Yeah.
If you're by yourself, you're not scared of losing a video game. So why are you scared of failing a business?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fucking real life video game,
Yeah.
but you've got thousands of people watching you, or not even thousands. You've got people that you care about or that have told you to do something else and you're going against the grain.
Yeah.
And that's why you're not doing it. It's not the fear of failure. And the only negative for not trying the thing that you want to do
Yeah.
is not having to go through that pain of failing. That's the only negative.
Yeah.
And as soon as you can overcome that, the sooner you'll be able to expand yourself, the sooner you'll be able to believe in yourself, the sooner you'll be able to live the life that you deserve to live or that you want to live.
Yeah.
And let me reframe that in terms of deserve to live. You deserve everything you have right now, like you fucking deserve. If you're in a shithole and you're in a horrible job, that's on you.
Yeah.
No one else. That's on you.
Yeah.
And the reason it's on you is because you have all these other options. You just don't believe in yourself
Yeah.
to take that next step, or you haven't been exposed to what that next step looks like. And so that's the big thing for me, was being able to open their eyes to what else is out there and what's in this world that they can actually go after and have some purpose and drive and something to actually get out of bed in the morning.
Yeah. Couldn't have said it better.
Have you have you had a full circle moment yet where, you've had someone reach out to you saying that, you've basically inspired them to believe in themselves and, go and make that video or go and whatever the person is? Have you had that moment yet? Because it's definitely coming if you haven't.
Oh, multiple times.
Yeah.
And it's funny, someone asked me the other day, what inspires you? And I said, when you can be the person that inspires people,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you have unlimited inspiration.
Yeah. It's
Because when someone tells you that you've inspired them,
Yeah.
that is the most inspiring thing you can possibly hear.
Yeah.
And so to answer your question, yes, I have. And the crazy part about it is the ones that move the needle the most are all the people around me in my circle or old friends or people that are in close proximity to me. They've seen the growth.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden they believe it can happen.
Yeah.
And that little bit of belief that it can happen is what starts them to post that first video.
Yeah.
And they might not get any traction for 2 months straight of posting every day, but they've seen it happen from me, that they know that it can happen, which gives them the hope to keep going. And so every video they post, every day they post another one. Every day they're going to keep going and keep going. And what's going to happen with that is that they're going to keep getting better.
Yeah.
And all it takes is one video to blow up, and all of a sudden you've got a lot more eyes on you. And there's a bigger message and a bigger audience that you can help.
Just cutting away from the episode real quick, we just thought we should remind you guys about our socials.
You can find us as Amateur Shit Talkers on Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, and YouTube.
And if you'd like to find them all in one place, hit the link tree in our Insta bio.
Without further ado, let's get back into the episode.
Yeah.
Have you got a main personal milestone in your journey so far since like June 1st? You know, like just the one thing that was like, yeah, that's pretty fucking sick. Like giving yourself some credit for the hard work.
The biggest one was 100,000 on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I hit it when I was in Melbourne
Yeah.
a few weeks ago. And actually, in reflection, that's wild because I'm on 170 now.
That's a massive thing to hit on Instagram.
And so 100K on Instagram. But the thing that was more wild about it was I hit it as I was walking into the MCG. And I was going into the MCG, the Melbourne Cricket Ground. And I walk in and I hit 100,000. It rolls over. Literally like that day. And I'm walking in the stadium and I look up and I look at the whole stadium and I go, I could fill this whole stadium.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's sick.
That stadium holds 100,000 people. I could fill this whole stadium with people that follow me on Instagram. And that was a bit of like a, wow, like pat on the back.
Yeah.
Bit of a pat on the back moment. But I think just stemming from that, like, which is really interesting, one of my mentors helped me out with this because I was struggling a lot with appreciating how far I've come. And the reason for that is because I set such high standards on myself and I'm not where I want to be just yet. So I struggle to be content with where I'm at because I'm not where I am yet.
Yeah.
And he drew this graph and he said, you've got the gain, you're in the middle, and then you've got the gap. The gain is how far you've come, and the gap is how far it is from where you are now to where you want to be.
Yeah.
And he's like, for you to get the gap, you need to appreciate the gain. Because if you never appreciate how far you've come, then you're never going to be able to get to the gap, because you need to be able to appreciate what you've done to help slingshot you forward.
Yeah.
And it's a really good reminder because I catch myself in it and you just go like it's almost like you're numb to it. Like you're numb, like 500,000 on TikTok, and you just look at it and go like, what, like it's just a number. And so the reason why the MCG, I keep saying Metricon from the Gold Coast, but the MCG was so amazing was it was a real life thing. You're looking at it and you're going,
Yeah.
I could fill every seat in this whole stadium.
Yes.
And that's when it's like quantifiable. You can actually see it.
Yeah. Yeah. And is there like something, like you said, like you're not where you want to be yet? Like, is there a spot, like what is it where you want to be? Like, what do you want to achieve?
Reach it, like, yeah. Is it not you said something about the gap before. What's at the end of the gap?
Yeah. When I can sit back with my legs probably crossed like this, and I can sit back and say I made it. And what does I made it look like? I made it looks like my mum and dad never have to work another day in their life.
Yeah. Yeah.
My mum has no debts and a home she can live in and not have to worry about it getting taken from her. My dad has a beach home with his red sports car in the garage.
Yeah.
I've got a beautiful family. I've got a kid and a gorgeous wife that I can look after somewhere probably rural that they don't get caught up in the city life. I can look after them and bring up some amazing kids and kick the footy with my son and never have to worry about earning $1 for the rest of my life.
Yeah. That
is what made it looks like.
You've got it pretty sorted out then, don't you?
Yeah, and that's happening. Time's just catching up,
exactly.
right? But that's where the destination is. And I think what's really important is that I haven't been given anything in my life. It's all been earned, and it just makes you appreciate the other side a lot more. Too often people don't. Like it's yin and yang, right? You need to go through the hard times to make the good times great. Because if you don't have the hard times, what are you comparing the good times to? The good times would just be normal.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'm so grateful whenever I go through something challenging. I'm so grateful for that time, because when I make it out the other side, when I get to the light at the end of the tunnel, boy, there's going to be a big smile on my face.
Yeah.
What makes you believe, or at least what made you believe? Like, say, what made you believe in yourself? Like, yeah, I can do this. I can get my mum that house, sort of thing. Now it's definitely like a more realistic thing for you, as you've had like the traction's already there and it's already going. But for a lot of people, you talk about making them believe in themselves and stuff like that. What made you believe that you could do it and that like chasing this journey?
The social media has not changed my perspective or my scope or my proximity to that goal. It's not changed at all. I've had that since 18. And where it stems from is, like, I don't have a choice. Like, I am not happy with I'm happy with how I've been brought up. I'm so appreciative. But I don't want my kids to be brought up the way I have. Yeah. There's things that I was lacking as a child that I don't want as an adult.
Yeah.
That's an underlying thing.
Yeah.
Loneliness. There's a reason I'm so social, is because there's people in my life that are extremely lonely and they're 60 or 70 years old, and I hate the look of that. I never want to be lonely. That drives me to be that drives me to have friends and be social and be a really likable person.
Yeah.
The money. It's like, I've had family members that go through divorces, and when you break down the underlying reason, it's because of money. Okay, we're going through a divorce. Okay, how come? What's gone wrong? Oh, I didn't have enough time to spend with my wife. Why is that? Oh, I was working too much. Why were you working too much? To earn money. Why were you earning the money? So I could look after my family. Okay, but if you're spending too much time on the business to earn the money, then you're not spending any time to work on the relationships, so the money's pointless.
Yeah.
And so money and relationships, massive driver for me.
Yeah.
And so when I look at that, that makes me seek answers.
Yeah.
It makes me seek, how can I do this?
Yeah.
It makes me search for what I need to do to live the life that I want to live and achieve all the things that I want to do. It makes me think of that.
Yeah.
And so when you unpack that, that's when you start getting answers. And so to give someone the self-confidence and the self-belief, it's to know that it can happen. You can see it. Fucking all it takes is a quick Google search. You can see people that are making the money. And it's not about the money, as I explained. It's about not being lonely and having an amazing family. But the money's what allows me to do that. And so, like, when you see these people online, you can believe it's possible. That's when you go and seek answers and figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
And I've got all these tools. I have all these programs, like an Ideal Lifestyle tool that helps you unpack the life you want to live and get you inspired. And I'll send you guys the program so you guys can have a play around with it. It's really valuable.
Yeah.
And so it unpacks, gets you clear on what your goals are and gets you clear on what you're trying to achieve. And it unpacks, like, how much you need to live that life.
Yeah.
And then there's a vehicle section of it. And it's the vehicle and how you're going to get there. And it's a really powerful exercise, because if you're going to go to uni or you're going to do a certain job, and you have this ideal lifestyle that you want to live, remove all your limiting beliefs, remove all the people that tell you what to do. What do you want? How do you want to live? And what's that look like? And then if you go to the vehicle thing and you put in that your career that you're going to study a uni for, and your career, the amount of money you make, you realize it can't afford that lifestyle, you have to figure out another way. Yeah. And you just have to. Yeah. So I know it's a long-ended answer to your question just there, but of course, yeah. But the way I say to people, how do you get the confidence in yourself? It's, you need to A, believe it's possible, and then B, you need to figure out ways and educate yourself to expand your earning capacity so that you then have the confidence in yourself that you can earn more money. Yeah. Oh, best speaker we've had on, pretty much, I'd say.
Of course, yeah. I think you're
Matt and I have been pretty laid back this episode, but yeah. Another question. Like you've talked about your mum and dad, have they been like a big factor of like support for your journey? Like, do they, like the moment you said to them, like, I'm going to start like a journey on, using social media as a vehicle, like, were they very supportive of that? Or do you think they're like kind of second guessing you at first, but now they're... Yeah, to be honest, it was a long journey with my parents. It took a while for them to click on to things. Yeah. Not just with social media, with business as well. I'm not in a business related family, and they didn't believe in me. Yeah. Yeah. And when they got all the calls from the teachers at school saying he's not coming to school, he's not showing up, he's not listening in class, he's not doing his work, he's getting the girls to do his assignments. Like, when they get all these calls, which is these all happened, threatening to expel me and stuff, and my parents are panicking in grade 12 at school. Dad's freaking out. He's looking to send me to a private school so I can focus, and I'm in a nutshell telling him to get fucked. Yeah. It's like they don't believe in me there. Yeah. They think I'm going to be like, they're worried about me. Yeah. And so what it took, and this is just the reality for a lot of people is you have to prove them wrong.
Yeah.
For them to believe you.
Yeah.
So then I moved to Sydney, and I started this business, and I raised a bunch of money and valued my company at $800,000 in the first 4 months of operation at 18. And then there was this little bit more hope. They saw I was getting interviewed by people, and they saw this different stuff about it, and then they started to believe me a bit.
Yeah.
I'd sit down at dinner with them when I'd come back, and they'd see all this growth. They'd see how much I learnt, and then they go, wow, like, you're so switched on, good stuff. And then all of a sudden, their belief in me slowly built up and built up and built up.
Yeah.
And now they look at me and go, anything you touch is going to turn to gold.
Yeah.
And so to answer your question, have they always been the belief? Far not.
Yeah.
If anything, they've been the limiting belief. They've been the thing that's probably they hold most people back, family.
Yeah.
And so the hardest thing was going against them. And even though they said, what are you doing? I'm saying, I appreciate your input, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Those really hard times, now they eventually believe. And now they know that I'm going to be the vehicle for them to live the life that they want to live. I'm the thing that's going to be able to put them in the best training and health facilities so that they can be on this planet for longer, so I have them for longer.
Yeah.
They know all this now because I've instilled it into them because I know it's going to be the case.
Yeah.
But it took a lot of work to get to that level.
Yeah, that's it.
Now, something that sort of definitely resonates with me a bit, but so you talk a lot about, breakups and helping people through breakups and stuff like that. So, as you did, I was fucking, in some fucking bullshit relationship. Not bullshit relationship. It was like a serious high school relationship. And that ended about exactly a year ago. And that sort of has grown me to be fucking, like, striving, essentially, for me. Did you find, I know you went through something yourself, but did you find, like, a bit of an inspiration in you, a bit of a goal for you to be like, yeah, okay, I have to do this. Like, I have to win, sort of thing. Did that stem from a breakup and those sort of emotions? Because I know it definitely was something with me to really chase your dreams.
Yeah, it was transformational, the breakup.
Yeah.
It was a combination of the breakup and leaving the job. I was earning a ridiculous amount of money for what I was doing, just selling booze, earning 6 figures, and I quit the job, and it was easy.
Yeah.
I work. The boss isn't going to be listening to this, but I was working 2 days. I was a full-time gig remote.
Yeah.
But I was working 2 to 3 days a week, getting the best results in the whole national team, and earning way too much money for what I was doing. And not too much money. I negotiated. I deserved it, but I left that job, and people were crazy. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And so I left the job to start my business, and I was building the software. I don't build it. I had the tech guy on board that's building it. So I left the job to do this software, and then that's when I went all in on the social media as well.
Yeah.
But the breakup happened around the same time too. And I'm so grateful for my ex. She taught me a lot, and I still speak to her every now and then. She's killing it. She's living in London at the moment, but
I'd see.
She's London, and I think she's going to LA after that. But she's doing really well, and I learned a lot from her. She taught me how to slow down. I was always constantly on the go, and she taught me to after swim at the ocean, just slow down and appreciate, soak it in, and she taught me to be a lot more mindful. I'm very grateful for that. She taught me standards and the type of woman I want in my life. She taught me so much stuff. So I'm so grateful for her. But I think where the transformation comes is what happened was I was a driven and motivated person before that relationship.
Yeah.
And that was what attracted her in the first place. All the characteristics I did, where I trained hard, I worked really hard, I was smart, I was running a business, all these things is what attracted her to me in the first place. And then I got in the relationship and things started to slack off a little bit. It didn't slack off a lot, but it certainly wasn't at the standard I was. And the reason for that is because I was going all in on business and myself beforehand, and all of a sudden you throw love into the equation, and you love this person, and no matter what problems they're going through, you want to be there for them, and you want to care for them, and you're thinking about them. And so naturally other things took a little bit of a back step. And so when we went through the breakup, I realized that, and I realized how much she was like how much I was giving her as well.
Yeah.
And so that just gave me this fuel to the fire that I am not where I want to be yet, and I just need to go all in.
Yeah.
And that's when I left the job, and I went on a little solo sabbatical to Thailand for 8 days by myself. After I left the job, just before, because I knew I was going to go all in.
Yeah.
And then I came back and then just went all in. So to answer your question, yeah, it did. It lighted something in me. It ignited something. And when I said to Lani, my ex, I said to her that when we were breaking up, I said, I'm going all in.
Yeah.
And I said to her, and I don't think she quite understood how all in I meant.
Yeah.
And then we spoke on the phone, like she just like was like, yeah. Then we spoke on the phone like a couple of months later, and she's like, fuck, you weren't joking when you said you were going to go all in.
Yeah.
You're going
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I wasn't joking. You should say, I wasn't. And yeah, there's no negativity towards her. She's amazing. I still speak to her every now and then just to check in, make sure she's going okay. But yeah, massive lessons and a massive
100%,
fire.
yeah.
It lit a fire in me for sure.
Yeah.
You would see the stories a lot more, but I went through a relatively healthy breakup. So it sounds like so did you.
What
as
happened
well.
with you? What was
Well, it wasn't like it was simply just young, and it wasn't really it for me. You know, I wanted to go out. I'm a bit of a lone wolf. Like I'm just a very independent person sort of thing. So it just didn't really work. I was fine with it. She was pretty okay with it, and it was relatively healthy. But for a lot of people, I see it like out on social media a bit, but it turns you into a bit of a okay, fuck you, watch this sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you find like with the stories that you've heard, is that the sort of the main thing that happens to people, and is like the way that it starts the fire in them? It's not out of anger, but they just want to prove them wrong and prove the other people around them wrong.
Yeah, it probably happens a lot. I don't think it's healthy.
Yeah, exactly. Me too.
I don't think it's the way to go about it. And I think it's like you're trying to prove something to them. And a lot of the time, by doing so, you can have a bit of malicious intent when you're doing things, and maybe you're doing things for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And so I would say that it definitely does happen. But I think the main thing is I think you can use it for a massive learning curve, so you can. Like, I just seeked so many answers and wondered why about all this stuff when I unpacked the subconscious mind and different ways that I'm acting can affect the way people view me. And I started learning all this stuff from the relationship. And I think the first step, and I've even got a free program that's gone really well in my bio. The first step after going through a breakup is I think you have to acknowledge and appreciate everything that's happened. And so you need to turn all that animosity and negativity towards your ex-partner into gratitude. And I think that's a really important step that a lot of people skip. And instead of doing that, they try and just get their mind off things, and they do things for the wrong reasons by trying to prove something. So they might go sleep with a bunch of other people, or maybe try and get with their friends, or just keep doing things to party and keep doing things to get their mind off it, but they're not resolving the underlying thoughts. So it's just going to keep going up, and then that grieving process is going to take a lot longer.
Yeah. Yeah, right. And do you think like, obviously like your breakup was a big part of like your social media journey. Do you think you would have still been doing like, hard-hitting quotes and that if you hadn't have gone through a relationship, or like, do you have any idea what it might have been if you didn't, or?
Yeah, if it wasn't what you're doing now, what would it have been, sort of thing?
Yeah, and that's the thing is like one of my favorite quotes is you can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backwards, and it's from Steve Jobs. And it's you don't know where you're going to be in the next 12 months. But then when you get there, you can look back and know exactly how you got there.
Yeah.
And what's powerful about that is I don't know, and I'm also haven't even considered it. And the reason for it is because if this didn't go to plan, and I had that mindset of thinking about what it could have been, then I might have regretted doing what I've done.
Yeah.
And so regardless of what I'm doing, if I've got a few decisions to make, like I'm picking one, I'm not looking at the others. Because the other ones, I've now made one, I can't control the other ones.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't waste any energy on them because they'll consume me. And so I don't know what I'd be doing. Potentially I'd be doing more content around business and mindset and life and fitness. Certainly wouldn't be relationship related if it didn't go through the breakup for sure and through that relationship. But yeah, I mean, like she's honestly, she like taught me a lot, and I'm beyond blessed from her. And she, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have had the following. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And she probably knows that. She's probably looking at it.
She's
like,
probably
fuck.
like, I'm the key to his fucking success kind of thing.
She's like, fuck, damn it.
She's trying to figure out where her cut is. It's like,
Nah, she's doing her own thing. She's honestly killing it. And, and so like it's, as the tide rises, all the boats do too. I honestly don't think, I hate people that have negativity. It's like even a couple of my other friends that have social media, and like, it's almost like I want them to like fucking overtake me in followers. It's not a competition. As the tide rises, all the boats do too. If you grow, I grow. If I grow, you grow. Because it might not even be the content. It's just the fact that I'm growing is motivating you to post more.
Yeah.
It's healthy, like not healthy competition, but it's quite simply like an amazing way for everyone to grow. When everyone's pushing each other and everyone's inspired, you're in a really healthy place because everyone's going to start growing.
Do you find that, so there's another saying, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Do you find that is like, that has changed you and the people around you? Like say with your growth or other people's growth around you, said you had mentors and stuff like that. Has that, like the people you surrounded yourself, affected how you've grown to your platform and doing what you want to do?
Yeah, well, like there's so many sayings around that, right? You know, some of the 5 people you hang around. My favorite one is, if you're in a room with 5 dickheads, you're the 6th.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a good one.
If you're in the room with 5 inspired people, you're the 6th.
Yeah.
And it's so true, because you are the sum of the 5 people that you hang around. And it's so important to note that, because I've spoken about it a lot with people, and I'm really passionate about it. But like, you sometimes, especially when you've got friends from a very young age, maybe school friends or something, you've spent so much time with them, and family as well is really important.
Yeah.
You've built up this unconditional love for them.
Yeah.
Your family, your close friends. And so they might be a negative impact in your life. I call them a net negative. It's a very harsh thing to call someone. Never call that to their face. But someone's bringing more negative than positive.
Yeah.
And I believe that most people that you hang around with that from a long time, a lot of the time it's family, a lot of the time it's close friends, they're net negatives in your life, but you still feel obliged to hang out with them and spend time with them because you have this unconditional love and they've been with you forever. And so I think that's stopping a lot of people. I think, a massive switch I made is I was so critical with who I was hanging out with. And I still am to this day. I don't let many people in my circle. There's probably 5 people that I can name that I get a lot of energy and thrive off. And those are the people I want to be around. And there's other crew that I can dabble in and have some good time with and have a few beers with. But like, if I'm hanging out with them all the time, or you've got to be really careful with who you're giving your energy to.
It rubs off on who you are, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Now, I feel like the perfect way to wrap up this episode with Chris Griffin himself. Hard-hitting quotes. 100. We might as well do 101. Something we do at all our episodes, we end up with a quote of the day. Ben and I like our quotes, and it's something a bit of a staple for our episodes. Now, you can see on the screen to our left, we have our quote of the day.
You might have to zoom in a bit.
I can see it.
You can see it? You can see it.
Fuck, you've got good sight.
So we do this now. It's a bit different because you actually do this a lot. This is your thing. But for all our other guests, it's a bit of a funny thing. We tell them to make it as motivational and inspirational as they can, and it's almost like some of them suck at it. It's a bit of a laugh. Now I feel like you're actually sort of going to smash it out of the park.
Jeez.
We've got it down there, and it's just it's a bit of a coincidence that you're in here. You're in here to do it.
Okay.
So go your hardest.
Am I saying that quote?
Say that quote, and you have to make it super motivational or inspirational. Take it wherever you like.
If you can't like memorize it, just like have a nice inspirational voice and look at.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
Feel free to change if you want to change any words as
camera
well.
or
Yeah, speak to the camera.
Let's do this. You see, this quote, you definitely need to take on board, because I feel like it's a lot of people don't appreciate this, and it goes: positive vibes only, isn't a thing. Humans have a wide range of emotions, and that's okay. So whenever you get caught in a dark place or a sad time, just know that that's okay. That's a completely normal feeling to go through, and know that you are okay. Everything's going to be all right, because the grass is always greener where you water it. So focus on the things that you can control, focus on the things that are in your life, focus on the things that are going to make you a better person and that's going to make you feel proud and happy, and you'll live the life that you want to live.
No one's ever going to top that, I don't think.
Well,
no one's
never.
ever going to top that.
That was off the cuff!
Fucking good. You're proud of yourself, aren't you?
You
fucking
you're
smashed
obviously
that.
built for that. Like, fuck, no one's...
Jeez.
I'll tell you what, after doing it for 100 times, so it'd be more than 100 times.
Well, I
it'd be
mean, that
thousands.
was that was just a speech,
Yeah,
man.
well,
That
that
was I couldn't really quite remember that. I
killed
need
it.
to read it a couple of times.
Oh, no,
but
that's fine. You killed it.
I think that's, look, it's a really powerful message. Positive vibes only. I think there's positivity in, like, the thing is about the positive, and it just comes back to this yin and yang, is you need to have the hard times, because if you don't have a down time, what's positive?
Yeah.
Positive's normal.
Yeah.
So that positive's not a thing. Without the bad, there's no good.
Rain before the rainbow.
Because it's a pendulum swing. It's like, as far as it swings back this way, it's got to swing the other way around. And if you don't have bad times, there's no positive times. Everything's just normal.
Yeah.
So when you get that kick of adrenaline, when you're feeling really good about something, that feels good because there was something bad that you're comparing it to.
Yeah.
And so it's a great quote. I think it's really good.
Yeah, well, that was nuts, but...
Spot on.
Anyway, if you want to take this time to quickly plug your socials...
please throw out your socials for people listening.
So people can hear more about...
If you just look up quotes...
You can hear more speeches like that if you go to the socials.
I'm joking. But if you just look up Chris Griffin, he'll come up with either Family Guy or me. So one of the two. But Instagram is more Chris Griffin and TikTok is Chris Griffin. And then you can go to www.morechrisgriffin.com to learn more about some programs if you're going through some hard times, and hopefully I can help you on that front.
Beautiful.
Bang on.
Well, we definitely have a winner for the
I don't
most
think you'll be
well-spoken. Yeah, most well-spoken quote. But with
Now,
that,
tell you
we'll
what,
wrap up
after watching this episode, if you don't spend the next hour at least trying to do something before you give up and just go back to watching TikTok or listen to podcasts, whatever, I don't know what you're doing. You've got to be motivated somewhat after that. Get up and go for a run. Do what, whatever was been on, like,
Bondi like Chris
your next little minor goal, go and try and achieve it after that one. And I think you should be inspired to.
Yeah, I think like just to end on that like you like sit back and by yourself, get a pen and paper, eliminate all of the thoughts around you, eliminate all the environments that you're in, eliminate all the people that are telling you things, eliminate like the family's negative thoughts, your teachers, whoever it may be, or whoever you're following online, eliminate everything, eliminate all your ego, and just have a blank page and a paper, a pen, and write down what you want out of your life. No limiting beliefs. Write down what you want. And look, people do my programs and they don't want a Ferrari and stuff. They just want to be able to live comfortably, not have to worry about some money and have a good family. And that's great. But whatever it is for you, like, write down what that is that you want. And then realize that that is possible and you can achieve that. But it's all on you and the onus is on you. You can't blame it on anyone else. You can't put it on someone else. Someone breaks up with you, it's your fault. Own that. You break up with them, it's your fault. Own that. Anything it is, it's all your fault, because as soon as you put the ownership on someone else, you're stopping yourself from learning. And so I would say nut out exactly what you want in your life and give yourself the confidence. Do things that are going to make you confident that you can actually achieve that. Because I just think that the action's the main thing you guys need to do, because if you don't take the action, you're never going to achieve anything that you want in your life.
I think that really sums up this episode.
Yeah, it certainly does. And I'll let Matt do our outro this time, but...
All right, yeah, so I can do the outro. Ben's been doing the outro the last couple of times, and tell you what, I reckon 3 times out of the 4 he's fucked it up. So...
Nah, that was like...
You rush into it too fast.
Nah, beginning
Chris,
episodes.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for coming on. It was great chatting to you. A lot of insightful insights. I've used that a couple of times.
Yeah, might go for a run after this, just...
thank you for talking to us. And Ben, you want to say a couple things?
Roll the outro music.
Bang.